Hey everyone, welcome to the ClearAds Intro to Sponsored Products. So today we're going to be covering the manual campaigns and more specifically the product targeting element of these campaigns. As you're probably familiar, manual campaigns do offer various different targeting. You have your product targeting, your keyword targeting, and in ad types such as sponsored display, you can also use audiences, category targeting, and you also have things like auto targeting, but of course we are focusing on manual campaigns and product targeting today. So essentially product targeting, for those of you that don't know, this can be used on sponsored product campaigns. So these are typically the types of ads which you're going to be seeing most on things like competitors' listings or any seller's listings. I'll just get one up as an example. These here would be an example of those sponsored product campaigns. So you have that flywheel, they're really in your face if you are sort of scrolling down, and you can even see some further down as well if we're just to have a look. This, by the way, is just a really good example of how having as much A+ content can, really protect your sales. Let's say someone was trying to scroll down, they have to scroll down a lot further to find the other competitors under the next set of sponsored product ads. So these are both sponsored products. You also have your sponsored brands and sponsored display ads. Now, these are very similar, well, exactly the same in regards to the targeting. However, they are in different slots. You're going to be capturing customers at different points of that purchase journey that we're also familiar with. And here would be an example of our sponsored brand videos. They were here earlier. Here we go. So sponsored brand videos, even allowing you to do product targeting now. They all come up. And this isn't actually any type of ad. This is just consumers' content which they've posted off of their own back. And again, anything like this is really going to help you protect your listing from competitors doing exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And you also have your sponsored display ads, which I haven't shown you an example of, but this would be a perfect example of a sponsored display ad. Taking these slots, you can see them down the sides, here at the top. And they're typically the ones which will look a little bit different. This would be a sponsored display / DSP ad. Both sponsored display and DSP are display ads, hence them going after those same sort of slots and offering different targeting options. But at the end of the day, they are still product targeting. So that's just something to take away. That obviously you have the listing, it is populated with various 10s, 20s, sometimes different ad spaces for you to get your products to appear, take that competitor market share. So you might be asking, why should I use a product targeting ad when I can just use keyword targeting? Surely that makes more sense. But with keyword targeting, sometimes you might be faced with CPCs up to, well, I've seen some with $10, £10, and it can be a bit daunting, especially if you're someone who's maybe not got as much funding as some of these bigger brands you're competing with. Product targeting can be another avenue to go around to get some market share, and it might be a cheaper alternative, but it also has its own benefits. It's just being used as an alternative. So obviously the first of which would be market share. You can get onto your competitors' listings. You might be able to take a sale. And there are various factors which you'd look into to dictate, would I want my product to show on their listing? Is it going to appeal to that kind of customer? Another benefit would be your ranking boosts. So as you probably know, or if you don't, I will show you now. Ranking is essentially where your product appears organically. So if I've just searched for men's sunglasses, which is where that product was, which we just looked at. So obviously these first slots nearly always going to be sponsored, but this would be your organic ranked one. So they're ranked the best. So these guys are probably paying a pretty penny, or these guys are paying quite a bit to be appearing under men's sunglasses. Of course, they won't be charged till we are clicking on that ad. But if I was to target these guys, and let's say I'm a customer, I've clicked on that product, and then I'm scrolling down and I see another competitor who's appearing here, which could be a sponsored slot. I'd decide, actually, I prefer these ones. I'm going to go and buy these. Now, even though you haven't bidded directly on men's sunglasses, because you've taken that sale away from somebody who had searched for that keyword, gone onto a competitor, and then ended up buying yours, Amazon will recognize this and it will be reflected in your organic ranking. It might not be instant, but over time, it definitely makes a difference and a huge impact. And that's something as an advertiser which I've seen work very well in the past. Not to mention as well, when you are winning these sales or stealing sales, as I like to put it, of these competitors, if you are competing within the same category, that's going to give you a good marking against theirs. And it might help you get from maybe 203. And if I took a few sales from somebody in 202 or further up, it might push me up further. So anyone who ends up in the men's sunglasses category will have a greater chance of discovering your product. So the next benefit I wanted to talk through was targeted reach and increased visibility. Now, I think this goes without saying for almost any ad which you are going to run. You want to be strategic with that targeting. Where is it appearing and why do I want it to appear there? And with that comes increased visibility. Now, the most obvious measure of this would be things like impressions, but of course, as an advertiser, you want to be looking into clicks, click-through rate, conversions, conversion rate. Is it a good long-term target for me to have? Is this a target I only want to have at a certain point within the season? So the next, which I quite like, is just that granular control and optimization. Now, you do have some targeting types like category targeting. As you saw before, we looked at that men's sunglasses category. What I could do as an advertiser is target anyone browsing within that category. And of course, that is quite a broad scope. And you can refine this with Amazon nowadays on PPC. You could say, I want to target anyone or show my product to anyone browsing within this category if they are on a product that has less than a 3-star review or more than X amount of ratings and is of a particular price range. So I want to target anyone browsing in the men's sunglasses category if they're on a product listing that's more expensive than mine. And although you can be quite strategic and you can refine this down, having targeted individual products, so I only want to target people on this specific product, it gives you a really effective level of granularity. You know exactly where you're bidding, how much you're bidding, and on what product. And you can break this down to 1, 2, or 3 targets per one product that you're advertising. So you can be really strategic, and it might give you confidence as an advertiser to increase budgets on a particular campaign because you know that exactly where that budget's going. There's no risk of it being given to a product or showing on a product listing where you don't want to be appearing. And of course, that's going to make things like optimization so much more easy in the long run. Now, the next is probably one of my favorites, something that I use across almost every account that I see where I have the opportunity to create these campaigns, and that would be cross-selling. And I guess defensive campaigns kind of fall into that also. So if we're just to jump on a random listing here, let's go with the number 2. If we are to scroll down, so this brand Gooder, and I am sorry if I've mispronounced that, they are basically being bombarded with competitors down here, all bidding to appear in their listing. Essentially, they're all going for this market share. Something that you can do, this is probably a better example as it does specify it's sponsored. I could target my own product. So yeah, I could target my own product, advertising my own product. And the main benefit, or one of the big benefits, is going to be it's going to make it harder and more expensive for competitors to appear on my listing due to the nature of competitive cost per click. So the most expensive cost per click is naturally going to win. That might be, or it should be, 1p or 1 cent above the second highest. So yeah, if you have quite an aggressive bid, it's going to make it more difficult for customers to appear on your listing when targeting them. And this doesn't just go for sponsored products. This could go for sponsored brands if there was a sponsored brand at the top, like we showed earlier, and even sponsored brand videos, which we showed further down. Now, these are the customer content, so not a great example, but you get the gist. You can sort of make it more difficult for competitors to get onto your listing. And now another would be, naturally, this is going to encourage a great cross-selling or upselling opportunity. You have features like this frequently brought together, which are organically, and they're done through data. So someone's actually thought it'd be a good idea to pair these sunglasses with that pink hat, which I wouldn't do personally, but each to their own. But if I was to start advertising maybe different products from my range, I could look on things like market basket analysis within my brand analytics, and I will show you that now actually. So yeah, this is market basket analysis, and I find this really useful when I am trying to upsell and do these various opportunities, because you would just go onto Seller Central, locate brands, and click onto brand analytics. Now, once you're on brand analytics, you just want to look at the little bar at the top and go to market basket analysis. Now, what I can do here, I can look at these different date ranges, weekly, monthly, and quarterly, look at my different marketplaces. And I have had to blur out, some of these, but yeah, as you could imagine. But what this shows me essentially is, for this product of mine with this title and this ASIN, this is what customers are buying with my product the most. This is what they're buying the second most, and so forth. And you can get this data for almost all of the products within your catalog. And with this, I could say, okay, customers who are buying this product are buying this quite a lot. Why don't I advertise this product on their listing to try and encourage more sales? And this is just one of the ways which you can encourage cross-selling and upselling within product targeting campaign. So this next point I quite like, mainly because I think this is what can make a product targeting campaign really successful or an absolute flop. And essentially that is what makes a good target. So the same goes for any pay-per-click or PPC campaign which you will be creating. You just need to find the right targets for your product. There's no point me selling something which is maybe a $30 mug and targeting one that costs $3, because the chances are customers who have clicked onto a mug that costs $3 is probably the price point which is really appealing them. So price point, I would say, when choosing a target, is normally the main one. You would not be surprised how price sensitive customers can be. And this is definitely something we've noticed with the cost of living. It's definitely increased over the years. And with this, we've seen inflations everywhere. So naturally, sellers are having to raise their prices. And those who do raise them first can typically see quite a big fall off. So with price point, you may be thinking, oh, well, I actually have quite an expensive product, and that's because it's premium. It has better pricing, better quality. It offers a better use case. And you just want to make sure that you're targeting other premium products. So it doesn't mean the cheapest wins. It just means make sure that yours is a direct competitor of those. And that doesn't mean just because they're both sunglasses, they can both go alongside together and it will work, because this isn't always the case. So if I'm just to go back to, these listings here, another thing which massively sticks out to customers is reviews and ratings. Now, as someone, if I've just searched for men's sunglasses, I might be browsing here. I'm like, okay, my budget's $30, so all of these could be appealing to me. What else can I look at to dictate how good this product is? Can I trust this brand? Do other customers trust this brand, and have they had a good experience? So other factors you can look into are their reviews. This seller here is loads of reviews and really strong ratings. So that, as a buyer, is quite appealing to me. 10,994 customers have enjoyed this product for the most part. And then you have this next seller here who has a similar story to tell, just slightly less reviews. And naturally, that is going to appeal way more than, I can imagine these guys all have really strong ratings and reviews due to the competitive nature of this category. I'm trying to find one with a bit less. I think this is probably a good example. So this has 5 stars, but it only has 69 reviews. So I'm going to naturally trust this one much more than I would that. And that's all factors that you might want to play into when you're picking the appropriate targets. Is, can I target someone with a much lower review or a bit more of a expensive price point if they're selling a similar kind of product? And those two factors alone can really help you pick out some top quality product targets. So the next point which I wanted to go over was listing quality when picking out yes, a competitor target to start targeting. Listing quality, I think, something that can make the customer decision journey much easier if you give them all of that information, so that they don't really have to click around too much to find out as much useful information about your product. What are your unique selling points? And as a seller, even though this video is really to show you how to pick a good competitor target, it might also highlight why you might want to put a bit of time into your listing and how that can maybe even drive some competitors away for going after your market share. So when comparing this listing, which is the Amazon's choice for men's sunglasses by this brand, to be fair, but either so, they've got an Amazon's choice badge, and they do a 9K per month, whereas this customer here, it doesn't tell us, or customer, seller. So when comparing this listing to the other one, they have a video, which is good, but I'm scrolling through this. I don't know if these lenses are polarized. What's it made out of? What size are the sunglasses? I guess that it does tell you the lens there, so probably not a great point to go on. But it's not too easy to find out loads about the product, whereas going on to one of the top sellers in the category, you only have to go on to the second one, and it's telling you, yeah, what makes this product good? Why should you buy it? The different size, widths, lengths of the lenses. It doesn't have to tell you in the title, because I guess if you're interested and you really wanted to know, you can just look through these. But even so, you could probably think maybe putting the lens sizes in the title could be an effective strategy. Maybe it couldn't, but it's that access to information. Someone's much more likely to trust a brand that has put the time and effort and knows their products, and they're confident to tell you what's good about their product, than someone who's just looks like they've pieced it together and could be drop shipping it from God knows where. So yeah, that's another really important factor to look into when choosing your product targets. So I guess that the next stage would be, how do you actually pull those targets? What's the best way to do it? And these are the tools which two tools which I personally use almost every day when getting competitor targets. One is for Helium 10, which I will walk through now. So Helium 10 is one of the biggest tools in the space. It's trusted by many sellers, and let me just log in. So yeah, as I was saying, it is trusted by many sellers, and it's been in space for as long as I can remember. But the tool I find most useful with Helium 10 is the Asing Grabber. So as you can see here, this is an extension of Helium 10, but if I was to do Asing Grabber, so searching for a really relevant keyword, essentially, and you might want to get this keyword through Brand Analytics top search terms, and type in a root keyword, and okay, I quite like the look of polarized sunglasses for women. It's got good reviews. These are the top products which I might want to target for it. It's got good search rank frequency, so you might establish this as a product or a keyword you want to start ranking for, and with that you want to start targeting some of the products which do appear for that. So let's just say that was men's sunglasses. I could go onto this page and click Asing Grabber. And what this is going to do, this is going to pull all of the ASINs, which is a standard identification number for Amazon. And it's going to pull it all on something which I can export as an Excel file and stick that onto a Google Sheet or an Excel sheet. So once you have downloaded that file, what you can do, as I just mentioned, is put that onto a Google Sheet, Excel sheet, whatever one you prefer. And yeah, one of the reasons I love this is because once it's loaded, what you'll be able to see is you have your different columns and rows, the brand which it belongs to, the origin, the price. So if I wanted to only start targeting customers who have a price greater than 20, I can do that. And I can also stack this on top of, I think I might put a dollar sign in the front there. There you go. Yeah, so you might say you want to target someone with a price point greater than 20. So I could just do that, click enter, and good old Google Sheets. There we have all of the products greater than 20. Mine might be 19 or 20, so I only want to be targeting those with a greater price point. And you might want to refine that even further and say, I don't want anyone with a star rating above 4.5. So again, God. And then you refined it even more. So you can really play around with these filters to make sure that you are left with the best ASINs for you to target, those that are relevant to a particular keyword or your product, and fall in with these different price ranges, review ranges, and maybe even ones which have very little reviews, which some customers might know are new to the market, and they have that opportunity for you to take that market share, given you have more reviews, more ratings, a better price point. Now, this next tool, which I find myself using more and more each day, is called Data Rover. Data Rover is great for tracking things like your keyword ranking, but one feature I really like is the keyword spy. So what I like to do is, if you go onto Keyword Spy and maybe you've identified some of your top keywords which you want to prioritize ranking for, you can go onto Exact at the bottom and it will pull the keywords originally. But if you just bear with and watch what this tool can do, it's actually really impressive. So we can set the date range to last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, a whole year, just a month. And you can pull those keywords. And what you want to do next is export a detailed report. Now, it's important you do a detailed report, otherwise it's just going to give you data on the keywords as opposed to the top 3 ASINs which have appeared for that. So then we want to download it, and as we have before, we're going to go onto our Google Sheet or Excel and import that. So what we've done now is we've imported that, and this is the data which it will show. These are the keywords which we imported. Now, what I love about this is you get the top 3 ASINs which have ranked at the #1 spot for that keyword within the last 3 months in this case, because that's the date range which we looked at. So given that you want to start ranking for men's sunglasses, you can start targeting all of the products which in the last 3 months have actually sold really well for men's sunglasses. And as we mentioned at the start of the video, this can be a cheap alternative, and even so, a really effective lever to be able to pull to try and get as much competitor market share off of your competitors as possible to increase your rank and help grow your business ultimately. So last but not least, I guess we want to see, how would I build a competitor targeting campaign? Now, you can do this through, as mentioned earlier, sponsored brands, sponsored products, and sponsored display. But the most natural would be a sponsored product. And even with sponsored brands and display, you do so by clicking Create Campaign down here. And I'm going to walk you through how to create a sponsored product targeting campaign. So once you've clicked on to Create Campaign, you just want to click Sponsored Products in this case, but you could do it with Sponsored Brands and Sponsored Display. Once you're here, the first thing you would naturally do is add the ASIN to advertise. Now, once we've done that, we want to go on to Manual Targeting and then Product Targeting. Once we're here, you can search for your relevant categories that you want to appear for. So let's just say, for argument's sake, we're in arts and crafts. We can set those minimum price ranges, maximum price ranges, and really refine that. And what I find is really useful is, we've given that a 1. What I find really useful is Amazon will tell you how, I don't know why it's doing that. It'll tell you how many competitors are appearing within that refined category which you've just created. So you can get a rough understanding of the reach, but more importantly, the individual product section. We typically think it's best practice to do on Exact, but we'd always recommend testing out different ad types. But me personally, I would typically go with the exact match type. And whatever research you've been doing, you can just copy and paste those ASINs in and monitor the performance, see how it goes. which wraps up my video today. So I hope you guys found it useful. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.